We are now joined by number 2 ranked UFC heavyweight Curtis Blaydes. Curtis, thank you very much for joining us today.
No problem, man.
First question will go to Jay Anderson with Cageside Press. Your line is open.
Hey, Curtis, welcome back. This fight obviously was scheduled to take place in November and, of course, pushed back because of the whole COVID-19 thing. How important was it for you to hold on to this particular matchup with Darrick?
I think it was the most important. This was the only matchup that made any sense due to our rankings and just there's no one else that really there's no one in the top 5 besides him or me and vice versa for him. I don't think he has anyone else. So I wasn't even really worried we weren't going to reschedule this. I was pretty confident in that.
We've heard differing stories from people who have contracted COVID-19. Obviously, we see Kamzat struggling with it right now. What was that experience like for you? I mean, how long was it before you were feeling 100%?
It was about 2 weeks. It took. I didn't have any of the respiratory issues, but I did have the headaches and muscle aches and chills. So it took about 2 weeks for that to all go away. And the fatigue. It took a little longer. Like just being tired randomly throughout the day. That was about a month, but I don't have any long-term effects like Kamzat and. I know a lot of people do, and I'm just happy that I didn't get that.
Well, good to see you back and healthy. I mean, when we talk about this matchup, a lot has been made over the years, even on UFC broadcasts, about Derrick Lewis's ability to just get up from a takedown. It's almost treated like this magical thing, and I'm just wondering what your take is on it, because obviously you've been scouting him for a while now.
I think he gets up because look at the guys he's getting up against. He got up against Latifi, who's a former light heavyweight, not the biggest guy in the world. He got up against Blagoy Ivanov. Blagoy is not the best grappler in the world. He got up against a 40-year-old, 225-pound Aleksei Oleinik, who was able to take him down and hold him down. And he didn't actually get up. He came out the next round and KO'd him. So I think there's a lot of variables that go into what allows him to get up, like guys' weight, guys' skill set, guys' technique, and guys being over-aggressive, hunting submissions. Like we know Darrick allows people to get in prime submission spots just so he can charge up and pop up. The thing is with me, I'm not hunting those submissions. I'm looking to anchor. So the just get up thing, that's not going to be an option.
Fair enough. And, if you do get the win here, you're going to be on a very impressive win streak. But then heading into this, obviously, Dana White says, well, it looks like Jon Jones is getting the next title shot. How frustrating is that for you, given you haven't even had a chance to, put on your performance yet?
On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being I don't care and 10 being I'm flaming hot mad, put me at a 3. I get it. This is Jon Jones. He puts asses in the seats. He's a money fight. So I'm not mad. I get it. It's just business.
If that is the case, I know when we spoke back in November, you suggested, hey, I'd be willing to sit and wait. If you get the win against Darrick this weekend, is that the same situation? Would you wait for the winner of Stipe and Jones?
We still don't know yet. It's not. There isn't anything that's concrete. Everything is very fluid. So that's an option, but we don't know for sure yet.
And last one for me, I said Stipe versus Jones. That might not be the case. Who do you see coming out with their hand raised in that rematch, Stipe versus Ngannou 2?
I see Stipe. The original game plan he had, it worked to perfection. He had to eat a couple heavy punches in that first round, but once he got to the hips, it was pretty much rinse and repeat. So why would he choose to deviate from what already has proven to work?
All right. Well, thanks as always for the time, Curtis. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Alistair Bishop with MMA Republic. Your line is open.
Derek, how are you, sir? Oh, sorry, Curtis, how are you, sir?
It's okay. I'm good, man.
I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I was busy reading something as I was speaking. Happy birthday.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
My first question, Mr. Blaydes, a lot of people talk about your wrestling ability. How hard is it as a wrestler to master your wrestling for MMA specifically?
It actually wasn't hard for me. It was a smooth transition. I think that's why I've been able to have the success with the wrestling that I've already had. Like the way I wrestled collegiately and in high school was I didn't do a lot of fancy takedowns, ankle picks, none of that stuff. It was just double legs, and I feel like the double leg or the blast uh, double is the easiest takedown to transfer into MMA, and it's even easier when you add punches. Like when you get a guy's hands up to defend a jab, his hips are available. And then another thing, majority of heavyweights on the regional level, at the amateur level, and even professional in like the UFC and Bellator and all those other professional leagues, a lot of heavyweights don't have my wrestling pedigree. There's not many heavyweights that, even if they were good wrestlers, they weren't as good as me when I was wrestling. So I think just all those factors combined leads you to where I am now with 55 or 56 career takedowns.
Besides the takedowns, would you say there's something else that separates you from other well-decorated wrestlers in the UFC?
My tenacity. I believe in my takedowns, and I believe that that's the path to victory. So I'm always looking to shoot. There's a lot of guys in every fight. There's a bunch of opportunities for guys to take each other down, but that's not what their focus is. They're focused on calf kicks or jabs to the body or whatever. I'm looking. If you pick your hands up, I'm looking to shoot because I enjoy it. I genuinely would rather slam you on your head than hit you with an overhand.
Would you say beating Derrick Lewis makes you undeniable in terms of a title prospect? Once we've figured out what's happening with the title, do you think this makes it almost undeniable for you to be next in line?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be Jon, and then I beat Derrick. I should be next. Like I don't see how it could be anyone else.
When facing a big puncher like Derrick Lewis, what would you say is the key to sticking to your game plan? Let's say in the hypothetical situation you get tagged by a big puncher. What is the key to sticking to your game plan in those situations?
Constant movement. If once you get stationary, that's how Derrick catches guys. They slow down, they become stationary, they start to rest on their heels. They're not ready to pull, they're not ready to move, they're not ready, they're not in the athletic position and ready to move. I'm always ready to move. I'm always looking to bounce. I'm not like your traditional plodding heavyweight. I use my athleticism, and I know that's what scares guys. They know I'm explosive. They know I'm fast, and I use that to my advantage.
Sorry, one last hypothetical one from me. Let's say the stars align and you end up meeting Francis Ngannou again. What do you think would be different from your side this time?
Oh, I'm not doing anything different. I believe in my game plan. I'm going to use my boxing to get inside and get to his hips and do exactly what Stipe did. It works. I know it works. You just have to get out of the first round.
Fantastic. And the last one from me, mentioned COVID just before this. Besides the physical side, how hard is it to stay mentally prepped during these times? You know, COVID popping up, opponents pulling out last minute. What are you doing to keep yourself sharp?
The same thing we always do. Like this is a normal fight week. We wake up, we eat, get a light workout in, hang out in the room, distract ourselves with video games, books, movies, talking, companionship. It's just a normal fight week. I'm not really. Once we get to the hotel, the outside world ceases to exist.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. Best of luck and enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
We'll go next to Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA. Your line is open.
Hey guys, how are you? Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm good, man.
And I want to ask you, Caris, how is it to celebrate your birthday in the middle of the fight week? Is there any time for celebration for
No.
something or not?
No, we'll do it after. I'm on a one-track mindset right now. The birthday doesn't matter right now. I know I've had people hit me up all day and I haven't responded to 80% of them because I'm just not interested right now. Focus on the fight.
Yeah, I can imagine. And did you have your birthday cake or not?
No, I actually don't even eat cake. I don't have a sweet tooth.
Okay. What is your favorite food in your birthday? That food that cannot miss in your birthday.
Pizza, but only from Chicago.
Okay. So I think that you will have that after the fight. And Curtis, I want to ask you. You have explained a few days ago why you wouldn't try to exchange with someone like Lewis, whose wrestling is not the best. But I want to ask you, why do you think that the people cannot understand that? And I want to ask you, Dana White has said a few days ago that there are hardcore fans and stupid people. So do you think that that is the explanation or not?
Yeah, I like the explanation. Like if you're a true MMA fan, then you appreciate wrestling. You appreciate grappling of any kind because you know that's a part of the sport. It's only the fans who just jumped on the bandwagon when Conor McGregor got hot. Those are the ones. Conor doesn't wrestle, so they believe that if you're good, you don't wrestle. I don't. I don't understand the correlation because if you look back at the history of MMA and the UFC, majority of the best fighters, the champions, longest, the guys with the longest reigns, usually have a grappling background, a grappling history. Like it's effective. Like I know it's not. People want the blood and the guts and the stand up, rock 'em, sock 'em, but they forget we we have bodies. Like these bodies only have so much content they can absorb before it's over. The name of the game is longevity, and the longer I can fight, the more I can earn, the better I can provide for my family. And the best way for me to be around for a long time is to avoid those wars. I know some people would say, well, just go knock him out and then you won't get hit. But that's not a guarantee. What is a guarantee is me putting you on your back and you not being able to hit me. And I just prefer that way because it preserves my body, it preserves my head. A lot of these fans, they don't care if I'll be able to remember my daughter's birthday in 20 years. They don't care because once I retire, they'll have forgotten about me. And then they don't care about the long-term effects. I do. I want to earn my money, but I also want to preserve my body as best I can.
Yeah, that's 100% truth. And Curtis, I want to ask you, do you think that the wrestling is nowadays in the modern MMA the most effective of all I mean all the stances? I mean the striking, the grappling, the wrestling. Do you think that the wrestling is the most effective one?
I think it depends on who you are. Like if you're a guy like Israel Adesanya, then no, I wouldn't tell him to fight like me because he's a striker. But if you have the wrestling pedigree, like of a Habib or a Kamaru Usman or like me, why wouldn't you use it? There's so many guys in these divisions who focus just on their striking or just on their jiu-jitsu. What's the good of jiu-jitsu if you're always on bottom? If you if you're not on top, it's not as effective. Like wrestling, I believe, is usually the cleanest path to victory. If you can control where the fight is, then you control the fight.
And Curtis, my last question: which type of fight do you imagine on Saturday night?
I don't know. I mean, that depends on what type of Derrick we're going to see. Like we know what we're going to get from me. We don't know what we're going to get from Derrick. Is he going to be aggressive? Is he going to be conservative? Is he going to be looking to get me out of there early? Is he? We don't know. So whatever he gives me, I'll work with it. Like if he goes backwards, I'm pressuring. If he blitzes me, I'm gonna meet him in the middle.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, Curtis, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Nikita with Sport Express. Your line is open.
Curtis, big pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. No problem.
Curtis, now we start seeing more and more flying knee knockouts against wrestlers in UFC, like Corey Sandhagen won against Frankie Edgar, Masvidal won. Why do you think flying knee became so dangerous? And do you have your personal fear of being flying knee? And maybe now, because Derrick Lewis has really good flying knee, maybe you train specific defense from flying knee?
No, I'm not too worried about Derrick's flying knee. We watched it against Ear Latifi. He throws it from the other half of the cage. His flying knee is nothing like Corey's. Corey's set his up with footwork and feints and jabs. We all know Derrick doesn't do footwork, Derrick doesn't do jabs, and Derrick doesn't do feints. So his flying knees are they're kind of sloppy. I'm just be honest, they're kind of sloppy. So no, I'm not too worried about that.
Can you explain just for all wrestlers, maybe young wrestlers, how to predict flying knee, how not be caught? Because this strike can kill you, almost kill you.
I mean, the best way to do it is like when I went against Alistair. Alistair was a guy I was worried about his knees, and he was able to catch me with a knee. It wasn't a flying knee, but it was a good hard knee, and that is a fear when going against guys who throw proper knees. And the best way to avoid that is constant motion. If you don't give them a target to lock on to, they're not able to prep the knee and meet you. If you're always moving, they never have a time to find you. So that's my best advice for young wrestlers going against guys who are known to use knees. Keep moving. Don't be stationary.
Curtis, fight against Alexander Volkov. First time we all see how when you were on top, you wasn't able to put this elbow grounded pound. Why? Why Volkov found defense against your elbows?
Because he has a unique body type. Like it's hard to find guys to drill with in preparation for a guy with his like long torso, long legs, long arms. Like it's easier for him to just squeeze and break my posture. That was the biggest thing. Like he did a great job of breaking down my posture, but I think he was aided a lot by his unique physical lengths.
Curtis, you have the most fastest pace of scoring takedowns in UFC. Now you have 59 takedowns just for 13 or 14 fights. It's quicker than even GSP pace. I would like to ask you: do you have in mind that you want to break GSP record on takedowns, or is it important for you? You know, you score. You maybe go home and count your takedowns. Is it important for you?
I mean, going into the fight is not important, but after, yeah, I'm always like, how many did I get? Like when I fought Junior, I was a little disappointed that I went 0 for 8. I couldn't get at least one, but I made up for it in the next fight against Volkov. So it's not like a major thing, but it is something I take pride in. And yeah, I think about catching GSP. Like when you have an opportunity to break a record, you can't help it. I've thought about it, but it's not like a priority.
Curtis, how do you think? What's the most beautiful takedown in UFC?
The double leg. That's my personal preference.
Curtis, one tricky, interesting question. Sometimes some people think that if you have very much takedown, that you have bad ground control. So it's better just one takedown, but you control all the round. For your style, you psychological more convenient with much quantity of takedowns, or you want to be able to control more good, with better control?
I get what you're saying, like, oh, if a guy keeps getting up, that's why you keep getting takedowns. You must have bad control, but that's not how I see it. Like, I could hold you down, but I'd rather you burn energy working your way up and then me taking you down. And then you burn some more energy working your way up, and then I take you down. And then you do it again, and I take you. It breaks you, especially heavyweight. Heavyweights are not used to being taken down and having to get up with a 250-pound plus backpack on their back. They're not used to it. It breaks them. I know it's happened over and over and over. And that's why I do it. That is why I have so many takedowns. But I won't lie to you. A lot of times, like when I fought Mark Hunt, a few times I let him up because I knew I'd just take him back down. I was like, will he get up again? I do that all the time. Like it just breaks guys.
Curtis, every great wrestler has his day when he go into 5-round stand-up war. Kamaru Usman has his war against Colby. Jon Jones have his war against Gustafsson. Are you psychological ready to carnage 5-round stand-up, or you just know, damn, I just want to wrestle? No, do you want your Owen, Rory McDonald, Robbie Lawler one?
Well, no, I've had one of those fights. It wasn't a 5-rounder. It was for 3 rounds. It was UFC 213. I fought Daniel Omielanchek, and I went 0 for 12 on takedowns attempts because I had an injured pec going into that fight, so I just didn't have the power to lift. So I went 0 for 12 in that fight, and that was a stand-up war, and we did it, and that gave me confidence. I am confident in my hands. Like people think because I wrestle that I don't have hands or I'm not confident. It's not that deep. It's just I don't like getting hit in the face. And if I can avoid that, I'm going to avoid it. So if Derrick defends all my takedowns, then I'll do what I did to Junior Dos Santos. But if he doesn't, why wouldn't I just take the takedowns, burn them out? Like we know that's an obvious hole in Derrick's game. Why would I play to his strengths instead of playing to his weaknesses?
Derrick, you fought 2 times against Francis Ngannou. Fans think that he has just pure power. Can you call him smart fighter? Does he have high fight IQ? How do you think?
I think he has shown fight IQ. He knows who he is as a fighter. He knows he has to get you out of there early. That's why That's why he comes out so aggressive. Like he doesn't want to be in there for 15 minutes. Like that thing you just asked me. Like, am I confident in being on my feet for 25 minutes? I don't think Ngannou wants to be in there for 10 minutes. He knows like each round the power goes from a 10 to an 8 to a 6 to about a 3. Like he knows that. So he knows who he is and he comes out aggressive. He knows like first round I'm at my best. That's when I'll be the most aggressive. So I think he does have pretty good fighter IQ.
Curtis, the last one from me. In terms of whole style, do you more comfortable with super technical strikers or such like Derrick Lewis, who has that awkward style and super dangerous, unpredicted punches?
I mean, they both provide their pros and cons. Like a guy like Volkov, he's very technical, so you have to be. Your defense has to always be sharp because you know his offense is always going to be sharp. He's always going to be hands up, looking to land. But then there's a con to those type of guys because if there's a sequence to events like he jabs, I counter, I do this, he does this. You know the dance, so you can predict what's next. But then you got guys like Derrick. The pro to guys like Derrick is he's not that technical. He's not that like it's not clean. It's not pretty. He just hucks it and hopes it lands. He just puts out punches and hope they land. So it makes it easier to avoid him. But the con of that is he can catch you with something out of the blue because he has the confidence to do whatever. He's not afraid to throw from any position, and that is like a little dangerous. So I think technical guys versus like sloppier but more powerful guys, they both present different issues and they're both like an equal problem. So I really don't have a preference.
Derrick, thank you very much. Best luck. We love you very much. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
We'll take our final questions from Hunter with MMA Weekly. Your line is open.
Hey, Curtis, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing? After in the post-fight interview after Derrick Lewis defeated Aleksei Oleinik, he said he believed he could take you down and punish you on the ground. I'm curious, as a decorated wrestler, what was your initial reaction to hearing that?
I chuckled. Legit, I chuckled. I think he was just saying that to elicit some response from the media, which I think that was achieved. Like, oh my God, Derrick's going to take down the heavyweight with the most takedowns? No. If he shoots, that means he's having a bad day. Derrick does not want to wrestle.
Right. He's spoken about how he's, open to wrestling with you. Do you think that he's genuinely underestimating your wrestling when he says things like that, or do you attribute that more to just his sense of humor?
Yeah, I think Derrick, he understands I'm a badass wrestler because I understand he's got some crazy power in his hands. Like, I'm not going to be facetious and be like, yeah, I'm going to knock out Derrick in the first round. That's just me. Like, that's just looking for clickbait. That's not my thing. That's his thing. So I think that was more of a clickbait thing.
Right. You mentioned that you enjoy watching your teammate Corey Sandhagen hit pads, and you even likened his movement to a ballet dancer. What's it like watching someone in the gym with that caliber of stand-up skills?
It's just cool to watch. It's just cool to see, like, because he was already good when I first joined Elevation. I got there like almost 5 years ago. He was already good, but I've seen the growth and the maturation. I've seen him grow more confident in his techniques, and like I see him throw all types of crazy techniques in the gym, and it's just amazing to watch. It's cool. It's like, imagine being in the gym watching Anderson's. So I'm not comparing Corey to Anderson. I'm just saying I know Anderson has great hands, and I know he was probably pulling off some crazy techniques in the gym. And the guys that were privy to watch it were probably like, wow, we're watching one of the best stand-up fighters of our generation. And I do believe Corey has the potential to be one of the best stand-up fighters of our generation.
Wow. What do you think of a potential matchup between him and TJ Dillashaw?
I think that favors Corey. I do. I know TJ is very powerful. I know his resume because when I got to Elevation, Corey was there also. I
Right.
mean, TJ was there too.
Right.
So I know what he's about, and I know he's a good wrestler. But Corey, man, like the way he brings it all together. He is an MMA fighter. He's got the jiu-jitsu. He's got the wrestling. He's got the defensive wrestling. He's got the offensive wrestling. He's got head kicks, low kicks, body kicks, jabs from he's got it all. Like, majority of fighters there's usually a hole in their game. Like me, my hole is head kicks. That's a hole in my game. We're working on that. Corey, I don't think he has any holes. I think he's a complete MMA fighter. And I think he's got so many tools in his tool belt that, like, victory is like, I believe he can beat TJ.
Earlier you were speaking about wrestlers and people that have the wrestling caliber of Khabib and Kamaru Usman. They should utilize their wrestling. I'm curious, what do you think of Kamaru's evolution from a boxing standpoint? He really utilized his jab successfully against Gilbert Burns. What do you think of his evolution from a boxing standpoint?
I think it's beautiful. I think, like, you combine his wrestling with like legitimate technical boxing. That's a hard guy to beat. I'm very happy for him because you see a lot of wrestlers that don't ever get to that point. Their hands never grow, and then you feel like you're always like, man, if that guy could just get the striking down, he'd be a beast. He'd be a problem. Well, Kamaru's a problem.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Curtis. Happy birthday. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you very much, Curtis. You're all set.
Thank you.
And we will be joined next by UFC featherweight Charles Rosa. We are now joined by UFC featherweight Charles Rosa. Charles, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yep.
We'll take our first questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hello, Charles. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. First question. It's been a minute since we last saw you. Just how are you feeling going into this one after those couple months out of action?
Feeling great. I've been ready for the last 6 months. I fought those two fights pretty close together, back to back. So, just figuring since I got to fight a few times during COVID, they probably just wanted to catch up with everybody else. But I've been ready for the last 6 months. I told the UFC I was ready to fight on short notice whenever. So basically, I've been in training camp for the last 6 months since my last win versus Kevin Aguilar.
You've said that you feel like you have the edge everywhere over Darrick. If it's so easy, what made you want to take this fight in particular, dude?
What made me want to take it? It's the fight the UFC offered me. It's the fights that I take. The UFC calls me and I answer. I've never turned down a fight with the UFC. I've been offered, multiple fights on short notice over the years. My first UFC fight 5 days notice against Dennis Seaver. You know, I was 9-0 with 9 first-round finishes coming into the UFC. I took my first UFC fight on 5 days notice in Stockholm, Sweden, against the number 9 guy in the world, Dennis Seaver. So, you know, that's who I am. You know, I'm ready at all times. I'm training all the time, and I'm ready to go. And this is the name they sent over. So this is who I got.
How do you see yourself getting the job done on Saturday?
I think there's many ways I could win. It's really on Derrick. It's where he wants to try to take the fight. If he wants to try to stand in front of me, you know, I know he got a new coach, James Krause. So, you know, I know he's a striking coach. So if he wants to try to stand up with me and eat some shots, and he's going to get knocked out. And then if he wants to try to go into the grappling exchanges, you know, which is my silver bullet, where I'm best at, then he's going to get choked out. So those are the two things that you're going to see happen.
Hey, thank you, Charles, and good luck.
Yep.
We'll take our next set of questions from Jay Anderson. Your line is open.
Hey, thanks very much. Charles, I just want to build on that last question a little bit. I mean, you've said there's levels to this, and he's going to find that out. I don't want you to give anything away. I know fighters are loath to give up their game plans, but have you seen any flaws in Derrick's game that you've identified that you think you can capitalize on?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely respect Derrick as a fighter. He's a veteran. He's been there over 40 fights. So, you know, but there's no doubt that he's very uncomfortable in the octagon. That's why he fights the way he does. So, you know, I know he goes very aggressive in the beginning. He comes out swinging really hard, and he wants to get the finish soon. So, I mean, I've never been finished, you know, in my career. And, you know, I think I've never been submitted in my career, so I don't see Darrick Minner being the first one to do it. So, I mean, obviously he's a tough kid, and there's a reason he's in there with me, because he's an elite level fighter. But he, like I said in the other interview, there's levels to it. So he's going to find out come Saturday night.
And I believe you're training out in Florida still, but as a Massachusetts native, what's it like to see the growth of New England MMA over the last couple of years? Because it seems like it's a real hotspot now.
Yeah, it's pretty special. I definitely, you know, I go up in Boston, New England off camp, and I get to go work with Rob Font and Mickey Ward. You know, Mickey Ward's one of the guys that I get to work with in Boston. You know, everyone knows Mickey Ward is a legend of a boxing coach, and you know, of a person. He's not just a boxing coach to me, but he's also like a motivational mentor. So my off camp, I love spending it up in Boston with my family. You know, I can kind of do what I want to do. It's still training every day, but it's just a little bit different. It's a switch of pace, so it's not the same thing every single day. And, you know, I get to see my family and go, you know, I really love what, you know, Tyson Chartier has done with the team. And, you know, to see Calvin, you know, even though it was a tough outing against Max Holloway, it was tough to see. You know, it was a tough fight, but it just showed, you know, the type of fighter Boston fighters are. They're guys that aren't going to quit. So, you know, I think, you know, he represented our city well, and what we stand for is never giving up, never quitting. And another prime example of that is Mickey Ward. And then Calvin showed it in his fight against Max.
Absolutely. And last one for me. I know you put a little distance between yourself and that neck injury now, but when you look back at it, does it make you appreciate being here even more, knowing, you know, how close you kind of came to perhaps, you know, having to hang up the gloves?
Yeah, that's been a pretty inspirational part of my career. Like, you know, I kind of thought coming into the UFC being 9-0 that I was just going to go straight to a world title, and that's really what I believed. You know, I came in undefeated into the UFC. It was super, just like I thought that was what it was going to be. But when you know, the story changed. So, you know, when the story changed, and then all this is just the way the story is supposed to be, and this is the way the story is going to be written. Is just, you know, even more of an inspirational comeback from a 2-year neck injury. So, you know, the doctors told me I would never fight. They told me it was less than a 1% chance that I would ever fight again. And I told the doctor that I'm a 1%er. You know, all these guys that are fighting in the UFC, including Darrick Minner and all the guys that I've ever fought, are the 1% of people that make it to this level. So I told them that I was okay with that 1% chance, and I was going to move forward with it and to do the surgery and to get back. And I did it. And then I came back and set the record for most wins in the Boston Garda with a first-round finish over Manny Bermudez, and the most all-time wins in Boston of all time, passing Conor McGregor. So, you know, I'm really happy I didn't give up. And like I said, going back to everything of the way I was raised, even though I live in South Florida, being raised in Boston is, you know, that gave me that mentality, you know. So I take a lot of pride in that.
Absolutely. Well, wish you all the best of luck this week, and thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
Actually, me, so just still look right here. Okay.
All right, man. So you fought, when you look at this top 15 of the division right now, you fought a lot of the names that got split with Yair, and you fought, Bryce Mitchell and these guys. You compete right there in those rankings. What kind of run do you think will get you there?
Yeah, that's why I'm excited. I said in an interview before, this is just the way the story is supposed to be written. I think, it's easy just to go with no adversity, to come from go 9-0, start your professional career 9-0 with all first round finishes and go right to a world title, become a world champion. But that's not the way the story is supposed to be written. There's a lot of adversity that I went through, going through the neck injuries, tough losses, split decision loss in Mexico City to Yair Rodriguez in Mexico in his hometown. But these are things that built me as a fighter. I wouldn't be as good as I am and have the level of talent I have right now if it wasn't for those losses. I got better from each loss than I have from every win, and that's a fact. So I'm the best I've ever been right now, and I'm ready to make a run at the world title.
Yeah, and it seems like your opponent, when you look at the matchup, yeah, he has some good submission skills. He kind of really relies on that. It's a big weapon in his game. When you know a guy's got a specialty in something like that, you're obviously privy to it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every one of these guys you go into the UFC is dangerous, and they all have a specialty. One guy's an Olympic wrestler. The next guy you go against was a glory kickboxer. And I fought Sean Soriano, he's Henry Hook, protege, and I had to kickbox with him the whole fight. So every guy that you're going against is special. There's no doubt about it. So obviously, you go through with your coaches. I go through with my coach, Charles McCarthy, Roger Crawl. We go over the game plan and we look at his strengths, my strengths, his weaknesses, and we try to expose his weaknesses. So that's definitely something I've been practicing, getting ready for his game. But I work on every day being the best fighter I can be. I've traveled the entire planet, going to Thailand, Holland, Dutch kickboxing in Amsterdam, Majiro gym, and all over the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's gym in the United States and South Carolina. So I've been able to train with the elite, and just continuing to get better. So I'm excited for this one.
Nice. And last one for me is, when you walk away from that octagon on Saturday with the victory, what type of performance would you be proud of? What do you want to display on Saturday that you can walk away with your head high as well as your guy?
I want to be able to pass the mirror test, knowing that I went in there and gave 100%. Like win, lose, or draw. That's always. I know that I can look myself in the mirror when I wake up in the morning. And I look in saying, hey, I did everything I could possibly do to prepare for this fight. I dieted. I went through all the training sessions. I fought through the injuries, fought through everything throughout the camp. And now, this is going to be the product of and the result of all the hard work that I put in. So, that's up to the guy upstairs to see how it's going to happen. But I'm really excited to put on a show and display my skills because, even since the last fight, got a lot of confidence from that big win over Kevin. He's an elite level guy, tough as nails, and had a great fight against him. And just to be able to feel myself in the octagon and just open up my game, and finally felt like a complete mixed martial artist, and I'm finally fully evolved.
Great, man. Well, we can't wait to see you there on Saturday.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Charles. You're all set. We will be joined shortly by UFC heavyweight Aleksei Oleinik. We are now joined by number 10 ranked UFC heavyweight Aleksei Oleinik. Aleksei, thank you very much for your time today. And we'll take our first questions from Martina with In the Cage. Your line is open.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank you. I am good, almost ready.
Sir, I'm curious. There's a big difference between you and your opponent. I think about experience in a cage. Why did you decide to take this boat?
Yeah, we have big difference, but we have many difference. Difference in experience, yes. We have difference in the weight category, yes. We have difference in age, yes. And we have style difference and many difference. But this is UFC, and any heavyweight fighters UFC is very dangerous. Nobody can say this guy is too strong, this guy is too weak.
Okay. You're now number 10 in UFC heavyweight ranking. Marcin Tybura from Poland is number 15. Would you consider to fight with this guy in a late future?
I don't think about my ranking now, about ranking my opponent. I just will show a beautiful and good fight.
What's your biggest dream to realize in UFC?
I have one dream for this Saturday. I will for my hand will be up.
Okay. How long do you plan to fight? I know you love this question. I know.
Yes, I love this question. I am always think this my opponent ask somebody ask me about that.
He didn't. He didn't. It's my own question.
Nobody know. I don't know too what is happened on this fight, but I want to be prepared for any technical possibilities of my opponent.
Okay.
I can strike. I can wrestle.
Last one from me. Who you got in Blaydes versus Lewis fight? Who's your favorite and why?
I don't know. I don't think about that. But my opinion is Curtis Blaydes is have more chance for winning this fight.
Okay, thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Jay Anderson with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Thanks very much. And Aleksei, just to follow up on that, you said Curtis has more of a chance to win. What are your thoughts on Jon Jones getting the next title shot? Do you feel he deserves that right out of the gate?
I think yes, of course he deserves that, but better if he have belt 93 kilo, 205 pounds. But now he haven't this belt. This means he must doing one or two fights in heavyweight, and only after that, if he win, he maybe was contender for belt, not from first fight.
All right, fair enough. Let's talk about your fight. Chris says he believes he can knock you out and become a contender. He said as much in a recent interview. What's it like to have younger fighters targeting you now to make their name in the weight class?
I don't have a goal fight only with younger fighters, or I haven't goal in my mind fight only with big names. I want to fight with everybody because I told you any fighters in UFC is one of the strongest fighter in the world. And this guy not too young. He not 18 and he not zero record. He have many fights and he fight in UFC 2 times and 2 time win KO. This very strong and very dangerous opponent.
He also says he's comfortable going to the ground with you. Do you believe that he can hang with you on the ground?
Maybe. No, I don't know because I can't find ground games as guys. I don't know what he can do on the ground. This secret for me.
All right, last one for me. I saw that you were training with Jon Aspinall ahead of this fight. What has that been like? What has he helped you with?
Yes, we train together with Jon Aspinall. He very strong wrestler and good striker. We train together, we spar together, and now he coming with me, and he will stay in my corner when I fight in this Saturday.
All right. Well, thanks very much for the time, Aleksei. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Gabriel Gonzalez. Your line is open.
Hello, Aleksei. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you.
Aleksei, you've fought obviously many people. Who would you compare Chris Daukaus to out of all of your previous opponents the most?
Excuse me, say it again.
So you fought many people. Which opponent is the most similar to Chris?
I don't know, maybe Junior Albini, maybe a little bit Travis Brown, maybe Mirko Filipovic, Alistair Averim, I don't know. Many guys who will be good striker, maybe a little bit similar for this month.
A lot of people talk about your age. Do you think that it helps knowing what it's like to have been the younger fighter as you go into it, because you know how hungry these young opponents are when they face you?
I told before, there's many differences. Somebody is younger, somebody is older, somebody have more experience, somebody less experience, somebody better striker, somebody is better wrestler. There's many little pieces. We have mixed martial arts is very big things. I don't know. I can't explain because my English is not enough for me. But I don't think this many important. If you very young, this means you good cardio, you strong, you fast, and you right, you more angry. But if you not so young, maybe you have more big experience, maybe something here you doing better, and many other things.
This is your third fight with no fans in the arena. Do you like the no fans, or do you miss, having all the noise when you fight?
This is not very important for me because I know million fans looking for my fights on TV or their laptop and cell phones. This is more important because in the any big hall we can collect maybe 5,000-10,000 people, maybe 15,000. But on the internet, on the YouTube, on the TV, millions people can watch this fight.
Thank you, Aleksei, and good luck.
With God's help, thank you.
Thank you very much, Aleksei. That's all the time we have for you today. We will be joined shortly by UFC heavyweight Andrei Arlovski. We are now joined by UFC heavyweight Andrei Arlovski. Andrei, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We will take our first questions from Cote Cruz with Fordwin MMA. Your line is open.
Thank you, sir. How you doing, Andrei? Good to talk to you.
Thank you. Very good.
That's awesome. Well, this would be fight number 52 in a career that has seen glory as a UFC champion and has been tested by the likes of Fabricio Verdum, Frank Mir, Fader, among others. Now the hungry young contenders are trying to take your name into their resumes. How do you feel about facing a lot of up-and-coming fighters in this stage of your career?
To fight young guy?
Yes.
First of all, thank you UFC for keeping me busy, and hopefully Dana White and Las Vegas PD not going to charge me with child abuse, Saturday night. So that's good. It's going to be 15 years difference between me and Aspinall. I'm very excited. He's tough, no doubt about, strong, young, probably hungry. So I'm ready to go.
You're currently in a 2-fight winning streak, with your most recent win coming by way of decision against Tanner Boser last year. You've said to the media that you feel there's still a title run left in you. Do you think a victory over Tom Aspinall can provide opportunities against someone in the top 15 of the division?
Listen, I never choose my opponents. It's totally up to UFC and matchmakers. And like I said, I'm happy that I'm busy. Keep fighting. I fought in November, fighting right now in February. So it's totally up to UFC. Well, I know for the fact I have to keep winning and train hard and listen to my coaches. Simple.
Fair enough. You started training under Paulino Hernandez recently. Could you share your thoughts on what this change has done for you?
If you count like 4 years, it's recently, yeah. I'm lucky, first of all. Thanks first round management, my managers, Ibrahim Kawa and Malki Kawa, and George Masvidal, that they asked Paulina if he would train me back 2017. He accepted. I asked if I can join ATT team. It's went in my way too. I'm lucky that I work with coaches like Mike Brown and Steve Moka, and like I said, in previous interview, I'm in a good hands. I have great team, great coaches. Another coach, one of my coaches, Artem Levin, he's a 6-time world champion in Muay Thai and kickboxing. So have a good coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. It was my bad. I get nervous. Not every day you get the chance to talk to a legend, right?
You're nervous. I not even see your face.
Yeah, imagine if you could see it. I'm that ugly. So you said about your coach, about Paulino Hernandez, you said that you'd be learning Spanish before he learns English or Russian. How's the Spanish coming along, Andrei?
Very good, especially bad words. I'll say a couple.
What's your favorite word right now?
In Spanish?
Yes.
Really bad word.
Fair enough. Well, I said it because I'm a Spanish-speaking guy, first of all, but it's okay if you don't wanna. If you wanna keep it for everyone. Last question from me about your fight this Saturday. Seems like Aspinall has the speed advantage, and he's a stronger striker. Where would you say you have the advantage in this match?
Age and gray hair.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Jay Anderson with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hey, Andrei. Welcome back. You're not looking too great. Hey, I know you don't choose your opponents, but if you do want to go on one last run at the title, you need to both keep winning, like you said. You also need to get some of those guys in the rankings. So is there a point where maybe you would say, look, I beat 3 tough guys. Give me somebody ranked.
Well, hopefully one day I'm gonna face somebody tough from top 10, top even better top 5, and I'm like other heavyweights in the line. So we'll see. Like I said, I have to keep winning and show good fights and be disciplined and stick with my game plan.
Fair enough. And, like you said, you've had this long, storied career, and you've done a lot of stuff outside the cage as well. I mean, your Twitter profile says fighter. It also says actor. And I know you did Universal Soldier movies. It did The Equalizer too. I mean, is there any dream project, anything that you want to do outside of fighting, something like that?
If you have connections, please put me in some good movies. Actually, I have audition like couple weeks before I came here, so hopefully I'm gonna be in a movie. So we'll see. But I focus right now on my MMA career. I have to, like I said, I have a dream. I have a goal. I just have to do what I have to do.
Can you say what you auditioned for?
Some movie, good movie.
All right, I hope you get the part. We're looking forward to it. And last one for me. There's a lot of big heavyweight fights this month, next month. Obviously, the title fight, Miocic Ngannou 2. Who's your pick in that main event?
Hopefully Miocic.
All right, thanks a lot, and best of luck this weekend, Andre.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Martina with In the Cage. Your line is open.
Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Just 3 questions from me. First of all, I would like to know in which point of your career are you now? How do you feel it? Do you think before your fights now that this could be my last one, or maybe you don't bother with it?
My next question, definitely it's not the last one.
Okay. Do you see yourself in bare knuckle fights after UFC career?
I have plans for UFC for next at least like 2-3 years. So ask me this question after when I'm gonna be done with UFC.
For sure, I will. And the last one from me, I cannot miss the chance to ask you about female MMA. What do you think about it? Do you like to watch?
I don't like it, but I do like some fighters, and I like cheering for them when they're fighting. But in general, I don't like.
Maybe some names?
Female MMA, boxing, wherever, even wrestling.
Okay, and what about those favorite fighters? Maybe some names?
One more time.
What about those female fighters you like? Maybe some names?
It's one of the students of Mike Brown, Kayla Harris.
Thank you.
Did it right say Harris?
Thank you very much, Andre. That's all the time we have for you today. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you.
We'll be joined shortly by UFC featherweight Darrick Minner. We are now joined by UFC featherweight Darrick Minner. Darrick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First question will go to Jay Anderson with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Okay, thanks very much. And Darrick, welcome back. Fight number 3. Obviously, you're a guy with a ton of experience outside the UFC, and you come in short notice last year. Wasn't your night, but you bounced back against TJ Laramie in September. I'm just curious, after all the work you put in on the regional scene, training, getting to that point, did you really feel like a UFC fighter prior to getting that first win?
Man, I think I've always known I've belonged here and been in the UFC. Obviously, I didn't. I claimed. Everybody claims they're a UFC fighter, but getting that first win solidifies that you're a UFC fighter. I mean, that's the big mark. Yeah, man, I belonged here, and now we're here and winning fights. Yeah, I mean, I am a UFC fighter with the win now. You know.
And now you get a chance to make it 2 in a row against Charles Rosa. Just give us your thoughts on the matchup here.
I love the matchup, man. You know, I guess to showcase my skills. and I think that where he's strong at is where I'm strong at on the opposite side. So I think it's going to be a good match for me. And Saturday night, I get to showcase the involvement of my my skills set down with James Krause and Glory MMA.
And, you know, Charles predicted a knockout in this one. Guys are always confident going into fights, right? But he says you're going to find out there's levels to this sport. Do you feel he's taking you lightly at all, given all that experience that you did have?
Look at my fights before I got here. I fought tougher competition before I got here than he did. He's had like 3 tough fights in the UFC. Yeah, I mean, I fought UFC caliber fights all from 2013 to now. And that's just, I mean, he can say what he wants, but he knows the truth, and he knows, you know, he's predicted a first round knockout. He predicted a second, third round submission. He predicted that. He doesn't know where it's going to go. So I don't think he's too confident in actually his skill set. So we will see what happens on Saturday night. But the fact is that I fought tougher competition to get here. I went through the grinder to get here, and he didn't. He fought a bunch of bums for his first 8 fights, and then he fought Dennis Siever for his UFC debut. When we talk about levels of this game, I went through the levels. He did not.
And, you know, when we talk about predictions, is there any prediction from your side for how this one ends?
I walk in there and I walk out there with 2 checks, and I get my hand raised. That's all I'm going to give. That's all it needs to be.
Fair enough. Last one for me. Between the Dawson and Laramie fights, obviously you had that Griffin fight fall through. I'm just curious, did you change anything with the weight cut approach between then and the Laramie bout and obviously this fight, or was that just kind of a one-off incident?
Man, I got sick with the Griffin fight, but I recently started working with Tyler Minton. And yeah, man, it's going great. This is the best weight cut I'm gonna ever have. Continuingly now, I don't have to stress about it, and they got my weight under control. And yeah, man, it's going great.
Good to hear, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, man.
We'll go next to Damon Martin with MMAfighting.com. Your line is open.
Hey, Darrick, you know, all the talk that's leading into this fight, I mean, you're a veteran, you've been around, but does that raise the intensity a little bit when there's a little bit back and forth like it seems like there is with Charles Rosa?
Nah, man, it's all fun and games until we get in there. You know, you can say what you want, what you will, but you got to still fight me on Saturday night, and that's all there is to it. You know, I'm not a big talker. I just know when somebody they have one prediction, they go to 6 or 7 others, and then they talk about how great they are. They're really lacking what it is upstairs. And, you know, Saturday night will show. You know, he's proven to be able to take an ass whooping, and, you know, let's go.
Obviously, you work with James Krause and the team down at Glory. I think James Krause is one of those kind of unheralded great coaches in our sport that doesn't put himself out there that way. But, you know, we've seen it, especially this last weekend with the Julian Marquez fight, where he said basically the exact right things you need to say to get his guy ready for that 3rd round to go out and get that finish. Can you kind of talk about what kind of influence that, you know, James has been in your career and what kind of coach he's been for you?
James Krause is the best coach in the world. I've been to a lot of camps, and he doesn't need to talk, man. His performances and the coaching that he does says for themselves. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to go out there and tell everybody how great he is, because his guys are performing for him and he performs for himself. Like, everybody knows how good James Krause is, and the impact that he's had on my career is, you know, it showed a little bit with the TJ Laramie fight, but come Saturday night, it really is going to show the involvement that I've made down at Glory MMA with James Krause.
We obviously hear a lot about the big teams in MMA. Of course, Charles Rosa comes from one of those American top team, and those are tremendous gyms, of course. But Glory is one of those gyms that is quietly putting together a pretty big roster of talented fighters. Do you feel like, you know, your team maybe doesn't get the credit it deserves in terms of when we talk about the big gyms in MMA?
Yeah, man, I think it's like the big gyms, they're a bunch of little teams anyway. You know what I mean? It's like a bunch of little cousins, like in different little families, you know, like we're a big family down there, and, you know, it speaks for itself, the talent that we're getting there. And, you know, right now I think he has 14 or 15 guys in the UFC on the roster. Eventually everybody will recognize it. And, yeah, that's all there needs to be said. We go out there and we fight, and that's what shows for ourselves.
And it does seem like you guys, you know, kind of have the good balance in terms of training partners, but also coaching. I mean, it seems like there's a good balance there, because you do see that sometimes where guys
have a great coach. Maybe they don't have the right training partners, or maybe they have the right training partners. They don't have the right coach. Seems like you guys have built a really good chemistry there.
Yeah, man. It's the best camp I've ever been to, as far as like the knowledge in that room is crazy. The coaches all work together. They're not trying to balance out. That we know who runs show. James Krause runs the show. He puts us on a schedule, and we keep it. And the improvements and the fights speak for themselves on how much wins we're getting, let alone the performances that are happening there. And like all the underdogs, like keep counting us out and we'll keep knocking them down. That's all I got to say. Cause I mean, look how many underdogs won last year, and, Julian was last week too. So, keep counting them out, keep counting those Midwest boys out and see what happens.
Thanks, Derrick. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
We'll take our last questions from Cote Cruz with Ford One MMA. Your line is open.
Hi, Derrick. How you doing? Good to talk to you.
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thank you for your time. How's Vegas treating you this fight week, man?
Oh, it's great, man. You're stuck in a couple of rooms, they kind of, went down to more lockdown situations, and that's all right. I mean, we're just kind of chilling out with the team, getting ready, hanging out with, the squad that you bring out here. So it is what it is. You cut weight, you get in, you go get the win, and yeah, it's great. The weather's a lot nicer. I mean, I left home at -18, so I like it.
Yeah, it's good to have some sunny days around you, right?
Yep.
Well, after a bit of a sour debut against Grant Dawson, how does it feel to finally have your first UFC win?
Great, man. It was just a sign of relief, man. Like that's all. The TJ Laramie fight is. It solidified everything I worked for like the last 11 years. Was not for nothing, man. My goal has always been to get the UFC and win fights from my very first amateur fight in 2010. So, yeah, man, last 10 years wasn't for nothing. And now I get to showcase, the improvements and how everything else. So.
Well, you have a great submission game. That's no secret. Most of your finishes coming by way of a tap out. How do you feel you stack up against Charles Rosa in that regard?
I mean, it's a great fight for me, man. He's good off his back a little bit. He's got good grounds, but we saw what happens with somebody that's just as that's better than him but more aggressive. What happens? We saw that with Bryce Mitchell, and not. It is what it is. I'm gonna go out there and show a better case of that. So.
Well, yesterday I had a conversation with James Krause where he said that he felt that you had the upper hand against your opponent this Saturday. He also said that you've made a ton of improvements on your game. Could you comment on what it's like to have James lead the team and how training at Glory MMA has added to your toolbox?
Yeah, man, it's great to have the training partners and the coaches that we have down there. I've always had a skill set, and I've always been good everywhere, but James Krause is so good at putting it together. And even whether it's mental, physical, or technical, man, the dude is a genius. And, like I said, like the team is keep building, and it's building a roster. And the up-and-comers that people don't understand or even know yet are going to showcase their skills here come the next couple of years. So that team is real, and the performances speak for themselves.
Well, Charles Rosa, just like you, has a strong BJJ game that sometimes leads to stand-up battles. Do you feel prepared if you cancel each other out on the ground and the fight turns into a brawl?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been at this stuff a long time, and if he wants to sit there and trade, he's going to end up on his back. And like I have power in my hands, and I've the thing is, like, I have a lot of submissions on my game, but if you go watch my fights, I usually beat people up until I get the submission. So yeah, if we keep it there, if he's able, maybe we stay there. Maybe that's my game plan. No one knows until we get on there Saturday. So I might just want to stand there and trade with him and show everybody like how good my stand-up is too. So. Yeah, keep an eye out for that too.
Well, it's a big couple of months for you and your team. Kevin Kroon, Grant Dawson, and Megan Anderson, just to name a few, have important fights soon. How important for your own preparation has been sharing the training room with them ahead of their fights?
Yeah, man, like I said, it's like a big family that just works hard, puts their nose down, and listens to our coach. And and here come Julian Marquez set the tone last week, never gave up, ended up getting that submission in the third round, and that just set the tone for the next. I think we have 6 or 7 guys in a row and then a couple weeks off. So that set our first quarter tone off, and I'm just going to continue that on Saturday night.
Well, sir, best of luck for you on Saturday. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Derrick. You're all set.
Thank you.
We will be joined shortly by UFC heavyweight Chris Daukaus. We are now joined by UFC heavyweight Chris Daukaus. Chris, thank you very much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
We'll take our first questions from Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA. Your line is open.
Hey, Chris, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Chris, this will be your third fight in the UFC, first one in the main card, facing the number 10 contender division. And I want to ask you, if someone have told you 1 year ago that you would be in this position, what would that Chris Daukaus have said?
I would have believed you. I definitely would have believed you on that one. My focus and drive that has propelled me to this spot has not wavered, and I just can't wait to show pretty much the world what that drive and that determination will do come Saturday.
And how do you approach and prepare a fight against someone like Oleinik with so much experience in the MMA?
Realistically, you've been watching that dude for however long he's been fighting. It seems like forever. Yeah. There's really nothing he hasn't seen. So you just game plan about what you do, and that's pretty much what I'm sticking to. I mean, everyone has their little, their go-tos, and everyone knows his go-to. So I mean, I've been watching him for years now, so it's nothing new to me. But I can only focus on myself and what I can, control in that cage.
And what would that be? What are the keys for your victory on Saturday?
Just let my hands go, land on him. Obviously he wants to take it to the ground. Make him work if he is going to take me to the ground. Make him work as much as possible so that when he's down there, he has to rest and, just push the pace on him. I honestly don't think that he can keep my pace.
Okay, and this card has some of the new contenders in the heavyweight division. I mean, you, Tom Aspinall, the new blood. And yeah. I want to ask you, what's your analysis about the division, taking into account the next title fight between Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou, and also the Jon Jones situation that Dana White has confirmed that he will be the next one for the title. So what's your analysis about all this?
It's exciting to have all the new blood in there. The heavyweight division for a lot of years has been like stagnant with Stipe, but Stipe is a true champion. He's one of the greatest. Francis fight, I'm really excited to see that. I want to see if Francis has been able to improve his wrestling defense and his cardio. In my opinion, he has. It's definitely going to be a different fight, but we'll see how that goes. As far as Jon Jones, that's a business standpoint. Jon Jones is Jon Jones. It's okay for me to accept the fact that he's going to go right into a title shot. There's really nothing I can say about that. Only thing I can do is just continue to work, beat these high-level guys and just prove that I should be in there with those guys. And that's what I plan to do. I'm really excited to see, the other heavyweights that are on the card, just to see how the whole landscape of the heavyweight division unfolds within the next couple months, because a lot of us have fights scheduled. So it's going to be super exciting for for the whole division.
Yeah, for sure. And Chris, who do you think will win the fight between Stipe and Ngannou?
I'm going to go with Stipe. I think Stipe gets out that win. Whether it's a late fight, finish, or he, just goes to the full 5 rounds again and decision. So.
Okay, and my last one, Chris. Where do you think are you going to be 1 year from now? Taking into account what the first question, 1 year ago you were outside the UFC. Where do you see yourself in 1 year?
1 year from now, I will be the number 1 or number 2 contender in this division. Simple as that.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chris, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. My first question, when you're up against just this, the veteran of veterans in Aleksei, where do you even begin in terms of watching film and breaking him down? Because there's obviously so much out there.
Realistically, any opponent that I face, it's their most recent fights, just because that's what their tendencies are going to be. There's no reason for me to go back, 10 years ago to watch Aleksei and what he was doing then. I mean, the level of competition and the amount of skill set that us as mixed martial artists have that can jump from fight to fight is astronomical. So realistically, we're just looking at his most recent fights and seeing what he did well, seeing what he did bad, and we're just looking to game plan off that.
He's one of those few guys, this isn't pro wrestling, but he's one of the few guys to have a quote unquote signature move with that, the Ezekiel choke. Out of curiosity, when you signed to fight him, do you sit with your jiu-jitsu coach and just like, hey man, can you just talk me through this so we don't get added to that reel?
No, I mean, it's something that you game plan for, obviously, but it's not, you have to take into account the rest of the fight, and what I'm going to be doing with that fight, me dictating the pace. If, I stick to my game plan, I make him fight my fight, he can't touch me with that. So that's pretty much what we're doing here. You're always conscious of everything that your opponent brings, but you can't get so focused on what they do that you forget what you do. And that's not what we're doing here.
What do you think has been the key to his longevity? Because obviously you don't see that many guys still keeping up at this in the game. What do you think it is about his style that's allowed him to stay at the top?
Realistically, I mean, for the better part of his career, he really hasn't taken a lot of damage. I mean, his style dictates that. He's, super heavy on top. He's in dominant positions. He's not getting struck. He's not sitting back on his back taking ground and pound for 13 out of the 15 minutes and then pulling off a submission. He's on top. He's dictating the pace. He's dictating where the fight goes. And that's pretty much why, in my opinion, why he's been so successful this long. He's very good at what he does, and it shows.
Hey, thank you, Chris, and good luck.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Damon Martin with MMAfighting.com. Your line is open. Damon, your line is open.
Oh, sorry. Chris, we've seen it now with the heavyweight division, some of the younger guys coming in like yourself, Tom Aspinall, who's on this card. Traditionally, heavyweight has been one of the weirder divisions where age hasn't mattered as much. You've seen the older guys kind of rule the division for a lot of years. Do you feel like we are seeing a bit of a changing of the guard with guys like yourself, coming in and kind of shaking things up a little bit?
Yeah. We're the new blood in there, and we're looking. Obviously, the UFC's put me against Aleksei, and Aspinall's fighting on the same card. He's fighting Arlovski. So there's definitely something to say about the UFC's confidence in both of our skill set and our marketability for going forward with this division. So it's pretty crazy to see, but I'm very excited in the fact that we get to be at the forefront of this quote unquote new blood to old blood, new division type thing going on.
Obviously, hype is great, and when you come with a lot of hype behind you, it's fun. But you kind of quietly came in and you went out there and knocked out a guy, then knocked out your next opponent. Now you're getting a top 15 opponent. Do you like kind of playing that underdog, that guy that we don't see coming?
Yeah, and realistically, that's what I like. I mean, apparently I'm the betting favorite in this, so I it's a little weird and I think a little disrespectful for Aleksei to be, the underdog in this, just because of his longevity and him being a top contender for years now. But yeah, I really like it. I mean, this whole mindset that I'm really not supposed to be here, like this is like my career as a police officer and everything. I have a full-time job. Like this is something I do. This is something that I've been working on for years to become my full-time career, and I can't wait for that to take off coming soon. So, it's people don't expect me to be here, and I'm fine with that because I'm just going to keep proving them wrong and that I should be here.
Has it been hard for you to balance that in terms of your career outside the cage? I think you just said that you hope to eventually transition to become a full-time fighter. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. The transition hopefully will be coming soon. But my wife is awesome with everything that she does. She takes care of everything at home. I couldn't ask for a better person to be on this journey with. I realistically I go to work, I do my 8 hours, and I go right to the gym. And then, or if I'm not at work, it's the opposite. So I'll be home a little bit, go to the gym, work out, strength and conditioning, whatever, and go right to work. And she's super understanding. She's been with me from the first steps of this journey, and it's something that has helped me because if I didn't have her, if I didn't have that type of person who was beside me, I don't think I'd be sitting here talking right now.
And last one for me. So much has been made about Aleksei's, ground game, his submission game. How important is patience with a guy like Aleksei if the fight does go to the ground? Because you do see some people when they get in that position, they panic, and that really opens up the submission. Do you feel like patience is a big key if this fight actually hits the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a veteran of the sport. He knows all the intricacies, the subtle details of everything. If he does get dropped, I can't be, trying to finish him real quick because he's very good on his sweeps. He's very good on his underhooks and coming up on a single leg and getting reversal. So it's something that I'll have to, plan on that, of what's going to happen. But I just can't get overzealous. And like I've been saying in my last fights, it's one of the major factors that has played a part in why I've been so successful recently, has been keeping everything under control, my adrenaline, my nerves and everything like that. So, that's what I'm going to be looking to do on Saturday.
Thanks very much, Chris.
Thank you.
We'll take our final questions from Jay Anderson. Your line is open.
Thanks very much. And just a couple of quick ones, Chris, if you will. There's been all this talk about Aleksei and the number of fights he's got. He's got more experience than anyone not named Dan Severn at this point. But you've got a black belt of your own. Do you feel that your ground game is being overlooked?
No, because in part that's my fault. I haven't showcased my skills on the ground, and realistically, it's just because I prefer to just punch people in the face. It's just something that I like to do. I like to keep that in my back pocket. I'd rather have people not know about that, so that when I do, when we do go to the ground, and when I do submit this guy, or I do submit that guy, or I hit an awesome sweep or whatever, or I'm super heavy on top, that people are going to be surprised, and it's nothing that I'm going to be surprised about. It's nothing my team's going to be surprised about, or any of the people that I train with. So it's definitely something that it's like a hidden gem that I have. So yeah.
Good stuff. And the other one for me, you and your brother Kyle both joined the UFC last year, and became part of an exclusive club, really, of brothers who have fought in the promotion. Yep. When you guys were on your way up, was there any sort of friendly rivalry on who was going to make it first? Any kind of little bet between you?
No, there was no rivalry about who was going to make it first, or I'm going to make it and you're not going to make it. It was the ultimate goal was for both of us to make it. This is what we set out to do as a profession, and we're doing this as a profession. There was always rivalries in the rounds. Obviously, you want to win the round, you want to get a takedown on him, you want to land 2 or 3 more strikes than he did that round. But the ultimate goal was always to get to this position and to prove that we belong in each of our respective divisions, and to prove that we belong at the top of those divisions. And we're just going to keep doing that. And I honestly can't wait till this fight. I get to make that one step closer to the top. And then when he fights, he's going to be doing the same thing.
All right. Well, you definitely proved you guys belong. So congratulations. Best of luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. You're all set.
Thank you very much, guys.
We will be joined shortly by UFC featherweight Patrick Sabatini. We are now joined by UFC featherweight Patrick Sabatini. Patrick, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We'll take our first questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hello, Pat. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. You've been doing your thing on the regional scene for a while. Can you describe what it's like to finally be here at the big show, doing the media day, being officially part of the UFC?
It's the best feeling in the world. It's been my dream to fight in the UFC. I worked very hard to get here, and now it's finally coming true.
Can you tell the story of getting the call? Was it your coach or manager who told you, hey, UFC is interested and we got a contract?
So it was about like a week ago, maybe a little bit over a week ago. Just getting done training, and my manager comes in. He's like, gave me that look, and I'm like, looked in his eyes. I kind of knew. He's like, we got the call. And right then and there, definitely made my day.
I can't help but notice you got a little bit of a black eye going on right now. You talked about it just a week ago. Have you had to kind of cram in a lot of training, or were you already pretty in shape going into this?
I was already in shape. I don't stop training, but it's funny. It actually happened the day I got the call, like right before I got the call.
Can you tell me about your team? Where do you train out of, and who's in your corner for this fight?
Sure. I train at 3 different gyms. I train at NPR Endurance, EEFC in Philly, and Renzo Gracie Philly. In my corner is Eric Purcell, John Marquez, and Daniel Gracie.
Finally, how do you feel you match up stylistically with Rafael?
I feel like I can expose some holes in his game, and I'll be ready to bring it come Saturday night.
Hey, thank you, Pat, and good luck.
Thank you, brother.
We'll go next to Keith Schillen with SureDog. Your line is open.
Hey, Pat. How you doing, man?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Excellent. Hey, so just talk me through, it wasn't that long ago, you were in the middle of the cage, your arm was facing the wrong direction. Just tell me how you mentally, was able to recover from that and to be now on the biggest stage ever. I mean, it's absolutely tremendous.
Man, it was definitely a setback. I actually, didn't even realize what happened until I looked at my arm in there. It was definitely one of the worst feelings, but I was back in the gym a week later. It was just a dislocation, and I put in my head, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get over this. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to persevere, and, that's what I did.
So, obviously, you're taking this fight on just over a week's notice. You said you're always in the gym. Is there any advantage by having, a small camp? I've heard fighters say, you're not thinking about it, you're not dwelling on it, you're not as injured. Like, do you see any advantages in that?
Absolutely. You don't have to overthink things. You're kind of just play your own game. Just like another day at the gym. That's it. It's there's no real buildup. You just mentally zone in and, prepare to execute.
And my last question for you is, when you look at Alves, when you match up, what do you think your prediction, what's going to happen?
I'm definitely going to, push the pace. I know he will too. It's definitely going to be a good fight. I'm looking to get that finish.
Congratulations on being added to the UFC, and good luck to you.
Thank you, bro.
We'll take our next questions from Jay Anderson. Your line is open.
Thanks very much. And Pat, welcome to the UFC.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Now, you told us a story about getting the call, getting the word from your manager. I'm just curious. I mean, we've heard this called the era of opportunity, so many short notice fights opening up because of the pandemic and everything else. Did you have a gut feeling that this was going to be your year, that something might be in the works?
I've definitely felt that, a short notice call was coming since like September. I kind of had a feeling, so I always stayed prepared.
Absolutely. And I mean, this might be putting the cart before the horse a little, because obviously you got to go out there and win your debut. But do you have kind of a next steps or a path that you see yourself taking through the next year?
I definitely want to fight as much as possible. Like I said, I take one step at a time, and that step's this Saturday.
All right, and last one for me. I mean, for fans who don't know you from CFFC, sorry, what can they expect from Pat Sabatini?
You can expect stuff on the feet, stuff on the ground, stuff in between. I could do it all.
All right, we're looking forward to it, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, bro.
We'll take our final questions from Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
Especially me, man, but you just still look straight here.
Gotcha.
All right, so you're making your UFC debut. You know, with the COVID era, essentially, tons of fighters coming out short notice, have mixed results. How do you make sure you come out on the right side of this? How do you do this fight week the right way to make sure you get your hand raised on Saturday?
Well, it definitely goes in the preparation, always staying ready, always putting in the miles on the road, always putting in the time on the mats, the sparring rounds. I feel like that, definitely have me prepared for any opponent at any time.
And there's going to be no crowd in the Apex on Saturday. And, it's your first UFC fight week, but there still probably should be some, that first moment of, I'm making my walk in UFC. How do you anticipate yourself dealing with that emotion?
I'm very good under pressure. I feel like it brings out the best in me, and I feel like that's what's going to happen Saturday.
And then my last one's simple. What's your favorite part about the fight, just the fight game in general? Why do you love to do this?
I like the camaraderie with teammates, coaches, going through the grind together, and ultimately getting the hand raised at the end of the day.
And I have one extra one.
Sure.
When it comes to this particular fight, what about this matchup excites you in terms of your freestyle style?
Well, it's a tough opponent. It definitely is going to bring out the best in me, and I just feel like I could get the finish.
Great, man. Thank you. Can't wait to see you on Saturday.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, Patrick. You're all set.
Good, man.
Awesome.
We'll be joined shortly by UFC featherweight Rafael Alves. We are now joined by UFC featherweight Rafael Alves. Rafael, thank you very much for joining us today. We'll take our first question from Jay Anderson with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Thank you very much. And Rafael, welcome. You have a short notice opponent for this one. Have you had a lot of time? Have you had a chance to scout Pat? And what are your thoughts on him as an opponent?
If you could repeat the question then, yeah. ¿Qué está esperando del oponente? ¿Qué quiere hacer usted con el oponente?
Tô esperando nada demais. Ele é cara bom, mas bom para ele, não para mim.
He's a good fighter, but he's not better than me.
How much of an obstacle is it to get an opponent this short notice? And does that make you just focus entirely on yourself?
Que si que el oponente agarró la pelea rápido, le afectó a usted para algo, ¿no?
Não. Não tô pronto, tô me sentindo muito pronto. Pode ter certeza que vai ser grande show.
I'm ready for make a big show for you guys.
And you're both making your debut in this fight. Do you feel your Contender Series experience will give you an advantage?
Que si haber ganado la Contender Series le dio una ventaja para esta pelea.
Isso é verdade. Eu lutei já. Essa vai ser a terceira vez que eu vou estar lutando na frente do Don White. Eu não estou sentindo nenhuma grande pressão, mas eu acredito que o meu adversário vai sentir muito.
I feel very comfortable because I won in Dana White Contender, and I feel comfortable here with you guys in UFC.
Is there any disappointment in losing Mike Trizano as an opponent because of his Ultimate Fighter background?
Que si tiene algún problema que no tenga, que Trizano no haya peleado antes aquí, que si quería que mejor.
Hoje eu me vejo bem melhor, bem mais preparado. Pode ter certeza que vai ser grande gol e nada vai me segurar.
He's a nice guy. I'm ready for fight with everyone you won in the top 10. I'm ready for the beginner or the top guys you got.
All right, last one for me. How do you see this fight playing out?
Sorry?
How do you see the fight playing out?
¿Qué piensa hacer la pelea? ¿Cómo va a ser el plan de la pelea?
Eu acredito que vai ser nocaute na minha área de trocação do strike, onde eu me sinto bem melhor. E pode ter certeza, se ele tentar me colocar para baixo, ele vai ser finalizado. Então é melhor ele deixar o nocaute a ele. Sim.
I'm a striker fighter. I feel really comfortable fighting on top. But if you wanna go down, go to the ground, I'm gonna finish him.
All right, thanks very much. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Keith Schillen with Sherdog. Your line is open.
Hey, Rafael, how are you?
Good.
My first question, you're on a 5-fight winning streak. You look like a completely different fighter than you have in the past. What do you credit for such big improvement?
Es un luchador diferente con lo que ha peleado antes, que cree que puede hacerle para usted difícil.
Cada luta que passa minha é diferente. Pode ter certeza que essa vai ser mais show diferente para os fãs, para o UFC e para o mundo.
Every fight is different, but I'm ready for everyone. If he want to fight in the ground, because this is his plan, I'm ready for him.
And when you came up on the regional scene, you did a lot of high flying attacks, flying knees, spinning attacks. You didn't really show that in the Contender Series. Any chance we see a little bit more of that, like capoeira style stuff?
Que ellos siempre vieron que lanza rodillas voladoras, codos, tal, que si va a mostrar más o menos lo mismo.
Então, no Contender eu lutei mais pelo contrato, mas agora no UFC vocês vão ver o que é show. Tanto faz de trocação, jiu-jitsu e na parte de backflip.
When I fought in Contender, I fought for the contract. But now in UFC, you're gonna see a real show. You wanna know which Rafael had for you.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll take our final questions from Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
That's actually me here, so it's just still look good. Though.
Thank you, Samir.
So during your 5-fight win streak, what has been the biggest piece to you getting that win streak, and what was the biggest momentum that you felt during that time?
Para esta pelea, que va a ser lo más impressionante que puede traer, que é lo mejor que pode ser para.
Eu acredito que eu vou nocautear rápido esse cara. E pode ter certeza que vai ser com um chute na cabeça, que é a minha área.
I'm gonna take a KO for that guy with a high kick, with a kick in the head. He's practiced a lot and he's doing perfect.
I wanted to ask, you're an MMA master, is that?
Yes, we're MMA master.
Yeah. So when you're, what about that camp has helped you really get your career going in this trajectory?
Que está en Master, ¿cómo siente el campamento que hizo en MMA Master? ¿Cómo siente ahí?
MMA Master é uma equipe que é onde eu tenho os melhores treinadores de jiu-jitsu, de trocação, de preparação física. E estou me sentindo muito bem para essa luta. Pode ter certeza que vai ser um grande show.
I'm very comfortable in MMA Master because we have the best coach in jiu-jitsu, the striking coach, the conditioning coach. I'm ready for this fight, 100%. Never been like this before.
And my last question is, it is technically your UFC debut because the Contender Series is a little bit different. Do you think you'll feel any sort of emotion when you make the walk, or will this be different, or just like the other time?
Que va a ser algo diferente que Contender, porque tu debut para cuando va a entrar para la jaula, cuando va a ser la entrada para ser diferente Contender, ou no UFC é diferente?
Vai ser bastante diferente, porque agora eu vou entrar do jeito que eu quero entrar, que é dançando, bailando e dando o meu mortalzinho na minha entrada. E o mais difícil de tudo isso é perder peso. Lá dentro é fácil fazer o resto. É dar o grande show.
I'm gonna make a big show when I walk in. I'm gonna dancing. I'm gonna make my back flip when I go inside the cage. Just what the difficult part for this, just cut it away. But we're ready now.
Right. Well, we can see the show on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rafael. You're all set. We will be joined momentarily by UFC heavyweight Tom Aspinall. We are now joined by UFC Heavyweight Tom Aspinall. Tom, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
We'll take our first questions from Jay Anderson with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hey Tom, welcome back. Let's not dance around it. Here you are entering fight number 12 of your pro career, and you're fighting a legend of the sport in Andrei Arlovski. What's that feeling like?
It's exciting. I've been watching Arlovski for a long time, so yeah, it's pretty much a dream fight for me. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
I was going to ask you about that. You mentioned watching him for a long time. I was going to ask you to watch him growing up, because he would have been champion when you were in your teens, I believe. Yeah,
something like that. I think maybe even before then, to be honest. I don't know exactly, but yeah, when I was really young, he was the champion.
Is there an Arlovski moment that stands out for you?
I remember when he knocked out Paul Buenatello, or however you say his name, and he knocked him out with like a short right hand, and then they didn't realize that he was unconscious, and he was just like leaning over the top of him. I remember that one pretty well. But yeah, and I like the Travis Brown fight as well. I really enjoyed that fight too.
Absolutely. And obviously we need to talk about your own accomplishments, because you've been on a great streak of your own. First of all, were you kind of expecting at this point a bigger name to come your way?
Not really. I wasn't really expecting anything. To be honest, I was planning on taking it quite slow, but when you get offered someone like Arlovski, who I've been watching for so long and stuff like that, I just can't really say no to stuff like that. So I wasn't really thinking about it too much, but when I got offered it, I said yes straight away.
And now that you have the fight, I guess you kind of got to put his legacy and any respect that you have for him to the side, at least temporarily, and treat him like any other opponent.
Exactly. I mean, I respect what he's done and who he is and everything, but when the bell rings and we start, he's just going to get treated like anybody else. The respect goes out the window, and he's going to be treated like another opponent.
Have you thought about what a win over Andrei Arlovski does for your career? Is that something where you thought, hey, this is going to land me in the rankings and be looking at bigger names, or do you try to worry about that at a later date?
I'll just worry about that later on. Rankings aren't something that bothers me too much. A number next to someone's name is not really important to me, to be honest. I'm just pretty concerned on Saturday night fighting Arlovski, and I'll think about what happens after when it comes, really.
Fair enough. And last one for me, it's a big time right now for the heavyweights. You've got 3 cards this month that are topped by heavyweights, and then you've got the big title fight in March. Who's your pick in that? And just give me an overall feeling of what it's like to be in the heavyweight division with all this activity going on.
Yeah, I think it's a great time for the heavyweights. Like you say, a lot of heavyweights aren't as active as the other divisions, so for everyone to be active around the same time, it's good. And to answer your question about the title fight, I think I wouldn't be surprised either way. Obviously Ngannou's got that crazy power that he's got, so if he won in 30 seconds, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think Stipe is going to win, just for the simple fact that he won every minute of the last fight, I think. So yeah, I think Stipe takes it, but I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Neither would I, man, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA. Your line is open.
Hey Tom, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, thanks. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Tom, obviously this is a special fight for you, so how do you prepare yourself for this fight? Do you make anything different from another one, or is just everything the same?
I just run, spar, hit the pads, wrestle, do jiu-jitsu, all that good stuff that I do every other time. There's nothing... I've not been doing any weird stuff, if that's what you mean. I've not been doing nothing out of the ordinary, just preparing for a fight like I would anybody else.
Okay, and a month ago you have made a post on your Instagram with the confirmation of the fight and the quote, "Work so hard, your idols become your rivals." So how was the moment when you found out you would be facing Arlovski? And I want to ask you, what were you doing?
I was in bed. I was actually in bed. I just checked the phone, and my coach had texted me and said, "What do you think about Arlovski?" And I just said, I didn't even hesitate, to be honest. I was just like, yeah, and that's it. So yeah, the moment was pretty good, and it stopped me sleeping for about 15 minutes. I went to sleep about 15 minutes later than normal because I was pretty excited, and then yeah, business as usual after that. Just carried on with the training.
And Tom, also in that post, you have said that you have to do it for the family, and Frank Mir commented, "Avenge me." So did he tell you anything else besides that comment?
No, that's all he said. That was his wise words of wisdom to me. Just avenge me, and that was it. So we'll just that's all I need. That's fine. I'm good with avenge me, and I'll try my best.
Sounds good. And Arlovski has said today that his advantages for this fight will be experience and gray hairs. So which will be yours?
Well, I've not got any of them. He's beaten me on both experience and grey hairs. So maybe I might have a few coming through, but I'm all right. But the speed is definitely my advantage against any heavyweight. I'm just in a different. I move at a different speed to anyone else of my weight, so that's always going to be an advantage for me. Is going to be my speed.
Which type of fight do you imagine on Saturday night?
Hopefully, me dominating, and I don't see why not. I think I can go in there and show my skills and just do what I do and finish him.
Awesome. And my last one, Tom. Chris Daukaus and you are part of the new blood in the heavyweights. I have asked the same thing to Chris. What's your analysis about the future of the division, taking into consideration the fight between Miocic and Ngannou and the fact that Jon Jones will be the next title challenger?
Like I say, Chris is a new guy coming up, same as me, so I'm sure we'll meet down the line at some point. But yeah, I mean, the division's getting a lot more exciting now with, like I say, people like Jon Jones coming in and stuff like that. So very exciting times for the heavyweight division. Good time to be a heavyweight, I think.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Tom, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Martina with In the Cage. Your line is open.
Oh, Tom, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Thanks, fine. Tom, I have some questions regarding to UFC, but also some other organizations, maybe from Europe also. First of all, I would like to know in which part of octagon game is Arlovski the most dangerous, in your opinion?
He's dangerous everywhere, and he's had 50 pro fights, so he knows exactly what he's doing in every aspect of MMA. So yeah, he's dangerous everywhere.
Okay. Who would you consider as an MMA prospect in heavyweight outside of UFC?
Outside of the UFC? Oh, to be honest, MMA outside of the UFC, I don't really watch it too much. So I couldn't really tell you, to be honest. I don't really know.
Okay. I understand that MMA is your work, but do you also watch MMA fights when you are not fighting or training?
Yeah, I do. But if I'm not training or fighting, I try and like give my mind a rest from it a little bit. So I used to watch it a lot more than I do it right now. So because I get a little bit sick of it if I'm in the gym all day and then I'm gonna come back and then watch it and then go back to the gym and then go back and think about it. It's just too much. So I try and just watch the people who I like watching, really.
Okay, last one from me. In the past, you had some opportunity to fight with Polish fighters like Łukasz Parowicz, Kamil Bazalak. What do you think about Polish MMA level?
I think the Polish MMA level is very good. I've trained a couple of times in Poland, and you know it reminds me a lot of what England was like 5 years ago. It seems to be really big over there at the moment, or maybe 10 years ago in the UK, and everyone's interested, and you see a lot of Polish MMA fighters doing a lot better in the UFC and stuff. So yeah, I think they got a big future, especially with they got big shows over there like KSW and stuff. So I think yeah, it's definitely on the rise, Polish MMA.
Great, thank you very much. Good luck on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. You're all set.
Well, that's it. Thank you.
We will be joined shortly by UFC heavyweight Derrick Lewis. We are now joined by number 4 ranked UFC heavyweight Derrick Lewis. Derrick, thank you very much for joining us today.
So, I thought you was gonna be.
The virtual media talk.
Hey, what's up?
We'll take our first questions from Damon Martin with MMAfighting.com. Your line is open.
Hey, Derrick, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I don't want to take the attention away from the fight too much, but I want to ask you, what's going on in Texas right now? That's your home, obviously. I know when the floods were happening in Houston, you were out helping people and doing things. Can you kind of give me your thoughts on everything that's happening in your home state right now?
I guess it's everything what you see on TV right now. Everyone really stuck at home and depending on the higher power, I guess the governor and the mayors and everything trying to control or sort out the problems that they have, because right now it really looks like it's more political than a real disaster, so I really don't know. So my family is good right now, so I'm just gonna keep it moving.
Obviously, you were coming out to Vegas for the fight, so you kind of avoided all that. But is everyone at home doing okay? I mean, any kind of distraction for you just because of kind of the craziness going on right now?
Oh no, everyone at home is doing great. It's really no distractions or nothing like that. Yeah, we're gonna make it through. We've been on foot. Any city that been through more disasters than the last 5 years is Houston. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna make it through.
I don't want to turn political, but I got to ask your opinion, Derrick. I know you're an opinionated guy. What did you make of the story that your senator, Ted Cruz, was flying to Cancun while everything was happening in Texas?
Yeah, I actually took a selfie with him at the airport, and I told him, "Hey, let me come with you." He said, "Nah, they're already giving me hell, so I'm gonna have to come back anyways. I'm gonna make it seem like I'm just only dropping my daughter off out there, and I'm gonna come right back the next day." So I said, "All right, that's cool." I said, "My bad. I'm not gonna even post a picture." Then he said, "I appreciate it, Black Beast. Handling business this weekend." I said, "All right, cool."
gotta make Texas proud, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Last one for me. Obviously, this is a fight that got rescheduled, because of what happened with the COVID testing and everything. I mean, it's kind of a crazy time right now, but was there any disappointment that you didn't get to fight one more time last year? I mean, is it just the nature of the sport right now where things happen like that? I'm sure there's no ill will towards Curtis because he got sick, but I mean, was it disappointing you didn't get one more in last year and you had to wait basically another, 3 or 4 months to fight?
Not at all, because it's not. It's like it seemed like all the guys in front of me already had fights anyway booked, and the only fight would have made sense before he had got his last loss is Overeem, besides him. So I guess everything is still would have been. I was still probably would have been just sitting around waiting and see what happened in March.
Thanks, Derrick.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador. Your line is open.
Me. Can you hear me, Derrick?
See.
Hey. Okay. The first thing I want to ask you is, how do you feel when you find out the fight with Curtis was canceled?
Like I wanted to know why, what happened, and if everything was going to be okay with him. I was concerned. I didn't want nothing really bad happen to him. I don't like the guy, but I wouldn't want him to go to the ICU or nothing like that because of COVID. I just only want him to go there because of me. So I felt bad a little bit for him. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. And when you find out he had COVID and the fight will be rescheduled, do you took any security in your gym to prevent you to get COVID?
We took a little bit precautions. We started training at my home in the garage, and training a little bit outside of the gym. So we changed it up just a little bit.
Okay, so what are your thoughts when Dana White said that Jon Jones is going to be next for the next challenger for the title?
I don't care. That's good. Jones been really cleaning out the division in 205. I'm pretty sure he wants some type of competition. So it doesn't matter. I get through Curtis this weekend, and I don't expect for a title shot, nothing like that. Even at the end of the year, maybe Izzy might come up. He probably gonna be fighting for the title before I do. Mighty Mouse might even come back into the mix and fight for the heavyweight title. You never know. Hey, whatever sells. It's cool with me.
For sure, for sure. If the champion I don't know who's going to win, Stipe or Ngannou, is going to be out for a long time. Maybe if you get the W, you will fight Jones to be the #1 contender.
I don't care who I fight next. It doesn't matter because I fought just about everyone except for Stipe and Overeem. I would like to fight Overeem next, but it wouldn't. I don't know if Overeem was even still going to be around after that last performance. So I don't even know. So we'll see. I don't care who I fight next.
Okay, and what's your prediction for the fight?
I believe that I could get him out of there in the first round. Like
Okay.
as long as I'm sitting in this chair, being in this hot ass room with the media crew, I'm ready to get up out of Nevada already. So yeah.
Okay, the last time you sent greetings to Ecuador and everybody was talking about the interview I had with you. Would you like to send another message to your Ecuadorian fans because they were very happy and rooting for you?
Yeah. Probably muchas gracias, putos. Not putos. Muchas gracias por todo. Sí. Yes. Simón. Yes.
Thank you very much for your time, Derrick. Good luck.
Simón. Yes. Gracias.
We'll go next to Hunter Brownstein with MMA Weekly. Your line is open.
Hey, Derrick, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I spoke with Curtis earlier, and he attributed you saying that you could, take him down and do punishment to him on the ground as, he attributed that towards your sense of humor. What's your response to that? Do you really welcome, a match on the ground with him?
Yes, 100%. And I really do believe I could have more takedowns than him in this fight. I really do believe that. Yes.
I know a big talking point that you had after your victory over Oleinik was, taking the sport more seriously and putting more work into it. What's your response to Blaydes saying, you don't put the work in, you don't put in the work for what it takes to be great?
Well, that's fine. Shit, how many fights I got and how many fights he got? And what's going on with me and what's going on with him? Shit, my resume speaks for itself. So he can say all that, what he wants. Now, that's fine. Whatever takes for him to show up fight night, that's fine. So I don't care.
I know when you fought Ilir Latifi, you predicted that you would win by a controversial decision, and that's actually what wound up happening. It came to fruition. Do you have any predictions for this fight?
I believe that it's going to be a first round knockout. I'll knock him out in the first round.
Great. Thank you so much.
First exchange, I'll knock him out.
For sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Black Bees. Good luck on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll go next to Nikita with Sport Express. Your line is open.
Derrick, big honor to talk to you. Hello.
I thought it was going to be a woman. You said Nikita. I'm thinking about the TV show Nikita.
In Russia, it's very well spread name, so we are. Got this. Derrick.
Yeah. Okay.
Derrick, I have always interested when Bruce Buffer announces you prior to belt. Do you feel dry fire? Does he give it to you, or for you just formality?
Say that again.
When Bruce Buffer announces you, have you ever felt fire, drive, or for you it's just more formality and you're completely in your own thoughts and you don't pay attention to him?
Whenever Bruce Buffer announces me and all that, yeah, I still get chills and goosebumps. It's a crazy feeling, I say this all the time. It's like I don't even supposed to be here, and just it's been a cool ride, cool journey, and hopefully I can continue that.
Derrick, I always thought that you have very underrated kicks. I think they're very athletic, very lightning fast. You have good power, but have you ever visualized high kick knockouts? And maybe now you have some, combinations in training, and you can force high kick knockout in the fight.
Yes, actually, I got 2 knockouts by head kicks in the gym. So hopefully I can really transfer that over. Maybe Saturday if I decide on doing it. But I really want to work on my All-American wrestling that I've been working on. So yeah, we'll see.
Derek, you have one of the most legendary win celebration after the fight when you hit yourself to the chest and then fell down. I always was interested. What do you feel to your opponent in that moment? Just bloody satisfaction, anger, superiority? Can you describe your feelings in that moment?
It's all mixed emotions, it's what I had left in the tank. That's what I'm putting out onto the canvas, So whatever I got left, sometimes you might see me barely even doing it. So it's like, shit, I'm tired, so I'm still gonna do it though. So there's always some. I'm just letting whatever I got left in the tank out on the canvas.
Derek, when you go to fight, what the last thing your beautiful wife usually said to you? Just good luck, or maybe you have some special conversation prior to fight?
Of course, we got pillow talk going on a couple of weeks before the fight. But yeah, I'm not gonna kiss and tell. But yeah, she say good luck and some other stuff. I'm not gonna tell you that.
Thank you. Derek, 2 questions about Alexander Volkov fight. Can you come back with your memory in the 3rd round? In what special moment did you feel that you now gonna catch him? Or it just was unpredicted reflex? Can you just recollect this?
Spanish, Bob? Spanish? What you just said? Espanol? No, say it.
Oh, it's too long to say.
Say it again. Say it one more time.
Derek, can you remember 3rd round against Alexander Volkov? Was any special moment when you understood that now you're gonna catch him with that overhand right? Or it just was by instinct, or you just saw some openings maybe? Can you describe your feelings?
Yes, ma'am.
It's too much to say in Spanish.
Just a little bit. Okay. I believe I could finish him probably in the 1st round, and even if it happened like the Volkov fight, it'll be the same way, and so I'll feel the same satisfaction. So don't ever give up on me, no matter if it's the last few seconds of the fight or the first few seconds of the fight. No matter if I'm getting my ass kicked, it doesn't matter. I'm still in the fight. I still believe that I still have a chance.
Looking to Overeem fight, do you think Alexander Volkov now championship level fighter? How do you think?
No, I don't think he's championship level fighter because Overeem been past his prime. I believe Overeem's still doing it just to catch up with his taxes. So I don't think Overeem's still in it for anything else but that. So he would have to prove himself against another a real top 5 fighter.
Derek, during fights, you play possum when you pretend rocked or tired. Do your coaches like it? Or maybe they say you, man, that's risky, don't play with fire?
No, whenever I really do that, they be having heart attacks. They literally have heart attacks on the cage side whenever I do that because they know what's going on. So, it is what it is. That's the way I like to do it. I feel comfortable doing it. We'll just see what happens. I don't like how everybody like to read me like that. Watch out.
Derek, last question from me. On a scale from 1 to 10, how you rate the possibility that you will have a submission win in UFC before you retire?
For sure. I never look for the submission. Whenever I want to look for a submission, I believe it's going to be there. Because especially when guys want to take me down, I got some arm bars that I could throw out there. So if you want me to throw a submission at this weekend, just give me a hell yeah.
Derrick, thank you very much. You're a treasure of UFC. We love you.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Gabriel Gonzalez with Cakeside Press. Your line is open.
Hey, Derrick, how are you?
I'm all right. A little hot in here. I'm good.
Well, you know what? I think we all get worried when you say stuff like that, to be honest.
Oh, no, it's really hot, though. It's for real. You don't got to keep it up. Yeah.
I want to congratulate you on becoming an All-American wrestler. I want to ask, when did you decide to stop throwing those hands and take the fight to the mat?
When people just expect from me, that's all I have, thinking that's my only game plan is all I wanted to do is just stand and bang. I'm very well-rounded, I'm good everywhere. It all depends on if I want to choose to do that.
You touched on it a little bit about the title and where Jon Jones is at. You beat Curtis Blaydes. You're on that short list for those big fights, the Stipes, Francis, and them. Do you see yourself?
You say big fights. I've been in big fights. What do you mean?
Even bigger fights. You know what I mean. Even bigger than the ones you're getting now. Like pay-per-view main event, not just fight night. You know what I mean?
Man, pay-per-view fights, they need to pay me pay-per-view money if I'm going to be fighting on pay-per-view. So I don't mind fighting on Fight Pass.
All right.
Still Fight Pass? No, ESPN Plus. So I don't mind fighting on that.
My quick question, man. Do you see yourself staying active, or do you think you might wait a little bit to see if, one of those pay-per-view points comes in, one of those pay-per-view fights?
No, I want to be active. I don't want to just sit around, wait, and complain and be like, oh, I should have had the title shot fight next and this and that. No, I want to be active. And, whenever I get through with Curtis, it's like, who else that I could really fight next, besides Overeem, since he been running at his mouth. Just to let y'all know, he the one been running at his mouth first. I wasn't the one talking crap first. I don't go around talking mess about other fighters because I know this is a tough sport. I'm not going to just dog a guy out just because his performance, nothing like that. But Overeem is the one that been talking trash to me. And that's the fight I would like to have next.
Just out of curiosity, Alexander Volkov, since he just beat Overeem and won those two, do you have any interest running that back, or do you feel like, you know what, you got the finish, you don't need to revisit that fight?
It doesn't matter. We can run it back. I can run it back with all these guys. It don't matter. I just want to be active. I don't want to just be sitting around.
I want to ask you about one of your teams in Houston, the Rockets. I want to ask you.
No, you're not. We're going to go skip that question. I don't want to hear about the Rockets, Texans, the Astros. You already know the answer to that. I'm pissed. I'm actually getting my tattoo removed next week. I'm getting rid of the Texan logo. I'm getting rid of all of that. And I already told my wife, do not send me out no clothes that got any other sport teams on it because I'm not wearing it, and I really don't want it in my house. I don't wear their beanies, their hats, their jerseys, nothing. I don't even like seeing a commercial come on my TV anymore.
For the record, you're welcome to join the train. We got a lot of great Los Angeles teams over here, man. So you let me know. We'll welcome you to the club.
No, I don't like the Los Angeles team. I'm a LeBron fan, though, but I don't like, I don't like all that.
Let me know if you ever change your mind. Final question, man. Just Stipe or Francis, who wins next month?
Hopefully Francis wins. It'd be great if Francis wins.
Why?
I don't know. I really don't care. I'm just trying to give you a politically correct answer. So I really don't care who wins. So hopefully Francis wins. I don't know why. So I don't like none of them because they're in my division. So hopefully he wins. So yeah.
Always good talking to you, Derrick. Thank you and good luck.
All right, thank you.
We'll take our final questions from Martina with In the Cage. Your line is open.
Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Finally a woman. Hey.
Finally a woman. Sir, I need to tell you that I've also watched Nikita on TV. I remember the show, so there's the two of us.
Yes, it was a cool show, yeah.
I have this feeling that everything has been told, but just have two questions. Why exactly do you don't like Curtis Blaydes?
Because he's a guy that I'm going against. You know, I can't be real friendly with these guys whenever I face them. You know, I don't have nothing against. I don't even know the guy. I just finally found out how he talks this week because I never even heard his voice before, and so I really don't even know anything about him. So I just don't like him because that's the guy I'm facing next. That's all.
Of course. And the last one, you have wins over Marcin Tybura from Poland and also Blagoy Ivanov, and now we will see these two together in the cage. Can you share your thought about this fight, and maybe you have some favorite in this fight? Tybura and the Blagoy Ivanov.
Ivanov? Blagoy fighting this week? No,
No, not this week. Not this week. UFC 260.
Oh, I didn't know they was fighting. Ivanov and what's the other guy? Tabor. I believe Ivanov would take that one. Yeah, I believe Ivanov would take it. He's a tough guy. He might rock him in there, but he's never out of the fight still. Yeah, he's tough.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Have a great fight on Saturday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Derrick. You're all set.
All right, thanks.
We will be joined next by women's bantamweight, Yana Kunitskaya. We are now joined by number 7 ranked women's bantamweight Yana Kunitskaya. Yana, thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you.
And we'll take our first question from Jay Anderson with Cage Side Press. The line is open.
Hey, thanks very much. And Yana, welcome back. This fight obviously was supposed to happen originally back in August. You know, she was removed from the card. You wind up beating her replacement. Were you glad to get this matchup back, given you've trained for her once already?
Yeah, you know, I was ready for any opponent. We didn't ask UFC for any like specific name, but I'm really happy that they give me opportunity back. I'm very happy that I have tough opponent and big challenge, and it's making me very excited.
And just give us your thoughts on Ketlen as an opponent. What sort of danger does she pose?
You know, she's very well rounded, and I prepare for like a tough fight and for every aspect of the game. But I think her game plan will be to put me down, and we prepare for this.
And where do you think a win here would leave you? Because that would be a couple in a row, and Amanda Nunes seems focused on 145, and it seems as if you can make a big statement at 135, it could be an opportunity.
You know, I'm not thinking over this fight in like future. I'm so focused on Ketlen, and it's my now number one priority. And next day after fight, we'll sit and think where we go after this.
And one more, you know, and this is maybe a further in the future kind of question, not immediate, but I mean, when you came into the UFC, it was the title shot against Cyborg at 145, where you'd fought earlier in your career, and obviously you came back down to bantamweight. But would you ever consider going back to 145 in future?
You know, I feel pretty confident in 135, making weight very easy. Even sometimes it's come to my mind to go down to 125. But if it's a big opportunity in 145, good offer, why not? You know, I fought in a lot of different divisions. I fought in 155, I fought in plus 155 is like so big girls. So everything have you know, pluses, and if it's good offer, why not?
And actually, you mentioned 125 in there. How big of a cut would that be for you? Is that doable?
Yeah, 125 will be like a pretty hard cut, and I will have to work long time, not just full camp. I will have to prepare my body, and it should be like really big reason to do this, to risk my health, not just like any fight, because I feel confident, like feel good in 135, and and I can't see any reason to move from division. But if it will be like any good challenge, big reason, why not?
All right. Well, thanks very much for your time, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Martina with In the Cage. Your line is open.
Hello, Yana. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yana, just want to know what's your message? What could be your message for all the female MMA haters?
Hey, I don't want to send any message. I not care.
Okay. Is it good to share love for MMA with your life partner?
Yeah, I like this thing so much. He very supportive, and I'm trying my best to be supportive too. And a lot of things getting much easier, and he motivate me a lot, like motivate really every day. And sometimes we need this help. You're not wake up every day 100% ready for training, and you need someone who understand you, who understand hard part. When you're in camp cutting weight, it's sometimes so tough. We need someone who really understand you and support. And I'm so lucky that I have this partner, that I have this thing every day in my
Great.
life.
Do you consider yourself as a real danger for champ Amanda Nunes?
I'm not looking over my fight. I'm not thinking about like the title shot. We're still like not close to be there. I'm number 7, Ketlen number 6. This fight gonna bring me just maybe one position up. So I'm now focused only on my next opponent. I'm not looking to meet Amanda.
Of course. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Gabriel Gonzalez. Your line is open.
Hello, Yana. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Yana, I was wondering, is it more helpful because I know Thiago has a fight coming up in a few weeks? Is it easier because both of you are kind of training at the same time, or is it sometimes difficult because your attention is kind of divided, focus on him and focus on you?
It has some pluses and some minuses, but I think pluses more because we both in the same routine, both need to eat, healthy, focus on fights and camp. Some minuses that we can't support each other like in some moments because we need focus on our fights, but we do our best. We support each other, trying to do camp as smooth as it can be. And good things that after fights we can rest a little, enjoy life, traveling. I think it's good part, one of the good part from this.
Talking about the bantamweight division, one of the things I noticed is that there haven't been too many fighters new to the title picture at 135. Holly Holm has been at the top for a while, and Jermaine Durandamy. Why do you think that the bantamweight division has not seen too many new women? It feels like compared to the other weight classes, there are not as many new fighters at bantamweight. Why do you think that is?
I think because this is first division in UFC, and after UFC open like 125, it's still new, so it's why things changing a lot. I think this is the biggest reason.
Do you think a win over Ketlen Vieira would put you there to get one of those big fights in the division because she was once right there almost for a title shot too?
I'm not looking over this fight, I'm focused only on Ketlen now, so I'm not thinking so much where it's gonna put me. And I don't want like fast way to title shot. I want to take my time. Wherever UFC gonna put me, any opportunity, I will use it.
My final question, how do you get the victory against Ketlen?
We prepare for every part of the game, and wherever fight gonna be like in stand up or in the ground. I will try to finish this fight, or if it will be all 3 rounds, I will try to show good performance. But I think she's gonna try to put me down, and we prepare for this. We prepare for stand-up game. But if we go on the ground, I'm really feel confident there too.
Thank you, Yana.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yana. Those are all the questions we have for you today.
Thank you.
We will be joined shortly by Ketlen Vieira. We are now joined by number 6 ranked UFC women's bantamweight Ketlen Vieira. Ketlen, thank you very much for joining us today.
Eu que agradeço a oportunidade.
We'll take our first questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hello, Ketlen. How are you?
I'm very good.
Ketlen, so co-main event against Yana Kunitskaya. Obviously, it's a very good spot on the card. Just how do you feel about being in this position to possibly have a big performance?
Vocês agora estão no common event do evento. Como é que você se sente como é que se sente nessa posição para esse evento? Então, eu sinto que é uma oportunidade grande de mostrar meu trabalho, a evolução, o trabalho que eu venho fazendo com a minha equipe. I think it's a very good opportunity to show all my technique and my training with my team.
Were you surprised that you got Yana? I think a lot of people after your last fight thought you might get someone a little higher in the rankings.
Você está surpreso por pegar a Yana? Algumas pessoas acharam que fosse pegar alguém um ranking mais alto. Não fico surpresa, né? A gente nunca escolheu o adversário e todos os adversários que o UFC manda a gente sempre pega, então nunca tô surpreso. I'm not surprised because all the time when the UFC offer me some opponent, I never say no. I always accept. For me, no problem.
How do you feel you match up stylistically with Yana?
Como é que você vê o casamento dessa luta com a Yana? Então, é um confronto de estilos, né? Apesar dela ser uma lutadora que gosta de fazer um clinch, mas ela não faz o clinch com intenção de solo. Então, acho que vai ser um confronto de estilo. Ela querendo impor o estilo dela de luta e eu querendo impor o meu. I think it's two different styles, like more standing and like more on the ground. And for sure, we try to put her down and she try keep standing.
What would you like to see happen next in the bantamweight division in terms of the title? Do you think that it should go to someone like Holly or Jermaine, or do you feel like you might be able to get in there for a big fight?
O que você acha que depois dessa luta vai acontecer em termos de caminhamento para o título, né? Você acha que a Valentina, a Jermaine? Então, eu quero pensar no agora, não quero pensar no depois. Eu acho que a minha primeira derrota que eu tive foi porque eu pensei muito no depois, muito no cinturão e eu esqueci que eu tinha que passar da Irene para eu chegar no cinturão. Então agora eu estou focada na Yana, ela que está com o cinturão na cintura. Se eu não passar por ela, não existe um passo. Então eu tenho que primeiro passar por ela, um passo de cada vez. Depois que eu passar por ela, e aí a gente toma um próximo passo.
I prefer now maintain my focus on Yana because my first loss, I think too much after Irani, and then I lost for her. Because after that loss, I'm just think in my next fight, I'm not thinking after that, because I prefer now just maintain my focus on Yana, not thinking anything different than that.
My final question, just do you predict that Amanda Nunes will beat Megan Anderson in a few weeks?
O que você tem de previsão para Amanda Nunes e a... Esse é o nome da outra agora.
Na minha visão, a Amanda Nunes é uma atleta muito inteligente, né? Eu acho que ela vai levar essa luta para o solo. Eu vejo mais chances da Amanda ganhando. É claro que a MMA é imprevisível, mas eu acho que a Amanda vence essa luta.
In my opinion, I think... Como é que é o nome? Esqueci o nome
Da outra, Megan Anderson.
Megan Anderson e
Amanda.
In my mind, I think Amanda will win because she's very smart, very intelligent in that fight. I saw the best way for her put the Megan on the ground and keep the fight there.
Thank you, Ketlen, and good luck.
Thank you, too.
We'll take our next questions from Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
Here, but it is still with you. So your last win was an emotional victory for you. I remember you backstage after you were so you were crying, you were just feeling the moment. How important was that win for you?
Ele viu que na última luta você chorou e não sei o quê. Quão importante foi aquele momento para você?
Eu senti como se tivesse saindo o mundo das minhas costas. Foram uma série de coisas que aconteceram antes da luta, marca a luta, desmarca a luta. Fiquei sem o meu principal treinador, que é o Dedé, e por mais que mudasse a adversária, na minha cabeça, se ele estivesse lá, ele ia me dizer o que eu deveria fazer para vencê-la. Então eu não lutei apenas com a Cijara naquele dia, eu lutei com inúmeras situações, então foi muito importante aquela vitória para mim. Eu estava extremamente nervosa, nem na minha estreia no UFC eu tinha ficado tão nervosa assim.
I'm very nervous that fight because I feel a lot of pressure because I come from a loss, and then many things will happen in that fight. I lost my head coach there, and then my fights change a lot because I have one opponent. When I come to the fight, different opponent, change my opponent I'm inside the flight, and I arrive in Abu Dhabi, the opponents change because I feel a lot of pressure because after I won, I cry.
And then I wanted to ask you, how do you, now that you've kind of got over that moment, that pressure is now gone because you got back in the win column, you bounced back. How do you ride that momentum into a second victory, keep your streak going?
Como você se sente agora? Porque agora você está vindo de uma vitória e um momento diferente. Como você vai se sentir com uma segunda vitória agora?
Então, eu espero que eu tenha uma performance melhor. Eu treinei bastante para essa luta, né? Pude fazer um camp completo para a adversária, sabendo quem ia ser. Então, eu acho que eu vou estar me sentindo menos pressionado e vou conseguir soltar mais meu jogo.
I think for that fight I'm training much better because I have a complete camp with same opponent, not changed. And I'm very prepared for that fight. I'm very prepared to it.
And my last question is, what can fans expect the fight between you and Yana to look like? What's the style going to look like, and why should they watch it?
O que os fãs podem esperar de uma luta entre você e Yana com diferentes estilos de luta?
Então, por mais que eu esteja na frente dela do ranking, mas é uma diferença mínima, eu sou a 6, sou a 7. Então, o que eu quero, ela também está querendo, então tenho certeza que vai ser uma guerra ali dentro. E eu vou dar meu máximo, eu estou muito focada para essa luta e é uma das lutas mais importantes da minha vida.
I think it's the most important fight in my life. I know I'm better hunter than Yana, but a little, but I give it to defend the best fight you saw in their life. Sure.
Great, thank you. Can't wait to see you on Saturday.
Thank you.
This concludes today's UFC Fight Night Blaydes vs. Lewis Virtual Media Day. Video recordings will be sent out later today. UFC Fight Night Blaydes versus Lewis takes place Saturday, February 20th from UFC Apex and will be available live on ESPN Plus with the main card kicking off at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Thank you very much, and you may disconnect.